Hi, thank you so much for joining me today for day 14 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life. And today's lovely sketch is created by Darla Webber, and I've put it up in the right hand corner there for you to see. So today, once again, I'm using print shop papers and I'm documenting a photo of my daughter when just before her second birthday, playing in a little paddling pool in our garden. Just a nothing photo really, but I really like it of her. She looks really cute, so I thought it'd be nice to have that in my albums. So I'm using a pair of compasses to create some circles, to create the big circular elements on this layout. So I started off with a 9-inch circle, and I've cut 2 papers out that same size, and then you can see I'm using the pair of compasses to draw I think the next one is a 7-inch circle, so I've measured 3.5 inches to get the 7-inch diameter, and I've offset it there, as you can see, per the sketch. So I'm just using my scalpel knife to cut around this circle on the inside, and because I'm lazy, I couldn't be bothered to get my rubber mat, so I'm just using some heavy chipboard behind to protect my desk. So just roughly cutting this circle out. It doesn't have to be too precise. I'm going to distress the edges anyway. I did go a little bit off kilter there, so just trimming that little bit off that I went wrong on. And you can see I'm going to offset the yellow circles onto the pink paper. So keeping the pink paper whole, but offsetting each of the yellow circles. So now I'm going in with a 5-inch circle. So I've just measured 2.5 inches on my ruler to get the 5-inch circle. And again, using my scalpel just to trim around that circle. And each time I'm using the circle that's left over, if that makes sense, to create the next circle edge. I don't really know how to say it. I've lost all my words. So now that's cut out. There's the second one. And you can see how I'm going to offset them. And I'm just trimming a little bit of excess off to make the gap between the circles bigger. There, you see, so you can see the pink through clearly, because if I didn't trim that off, they would just sit inside one another and it wouldn't work. So the last one to cut, so measuring 1.5 inches to get a 3-inch circle here. And once again, I'll use my scalpel to trim that down. This is a We Are Memory Keepers one. I've got to be honest, it's not terribly great. It doesn't hold the blade in that well. It seems to get loose quite easily. I'm probably better just getting some disposable scalpels from a general shop. The blade's good though, it cuts neatly. And that's it, so there are the hoops. So just checking that I'm happy with the size. I need to trim this one down a little bit more, and then I shall go in with my Tim Holtz edge distresser and distress the inside and outside of each of the hoops, and they will sit on that pink paper. And the photo that I'm using today is a 4x6 photo of Amelia. So again, just trimming this bit, the biggest hoop there, just so that it shows the pink clearly at the top. So just working out exactly how it's going to go, because I want to leave a little bit of space to the right hand side of the photo. You can see where in the Darla's sketch the embellishments go off to the right of the photo slightly, so I just want to be able to do that. So just finishing off, distressing each of the circles. And there you have them. So I decide to bring it over slightly more to the left-hand side of the page, so I'm going to trim off the very edge of the left-hand side of that circle. You can see it just hangs over the card ever so slightly. So now that I've got everything in position, I'm just carefully lifting it up and gluing it down. And then I shall turn it round and do the other side. I just didn't, once I've positioned everything, I didn't want to lose that, so doing it in halves. This is a little bit more tricky because they're overlapping one another, so it's just a case of working out how to pull them up carefully. And that overlap is going to be covered by the photo, so it doesn't matter how they lay. I just didn't want to pull things up or rip anything. So giving it a good press to check everything's stuck down, and then trimming off that little bit of excess that's hanging over. So really pleased with how that's looking. I'm now going to map my photo, and I'm just going straight onto pattern paper today. And you can see this is one which has actually still got the manufacturing strip at the top. This was from the paper pad, and that's why it had that hole. So I've just moved the photo up slightly to cover the hole so that I can use the entire piece as my mat. I quite like the way that you've got some of that black and white paper to the right and then the stripy paper to the left. So just trimming that down. And then I'll add some little bits, as I usually do. Not too much on this one. I just wanted a thin photo mat today. So I started with my fingernails and then thought, come on, Sarah, grab the edge distresser that's right there on the desk. And just distressing all the edges here before I work out where that little piece of paper is going to go. So just distressing that edge and then popping that down at the top on the left-hand side there. And I really like how that mirrors the black and white that we've got on the right-hand side of the photo. So just having a flip through now to see what else I can use. And I find instead of the tag that's coming out of the left-hand side with the title on, I find this fabulous cut apart that says, "This is the good life." And I think that's a really nice sentiment for this photo of Amelia, so that's what I use. So now I'm going to create my own tags for above the photo, just using a scrap of paper and then using each side of it because those colours work really nicely with the photo. So just checking that I'm happy with the sizing before coming in with a hole punch to create the holes in those tags. So I'm sticking that cut apart tag down, and here I am punching those holes now. And then I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers hole punch to reinforce a hole punch to create some nice little reinforcer holes in coordinating papers on those tags. So just scuffing up the edges as I have with everything else on this layout. So trying to keep everything uniform. And I'll use some wax twine to go through those holes as well. So again, just checking that I'm happy with the positioning before I commit to gluing things down. So looking for other bits that I can use to embellish up here, and I find this chipboard piece that says "This Day," and I think that looks really nice. So that just finishes that top bit off nicely for me. So sticking the two tags together and then gluing them behind the photo mat. And here I am with that whole reinforcer punch that I mentioned, just to decorate those tags. And I do one from one side of the paper and one from the other side. So one's a lovely white with tiny black dots, and the other one's that scalloped black and white that I've got throughout the layout underneath the photo mat. So I had an offcut of the black and white scalloped paper here, and I just thought that would look really nice running along the bottom of the photo and pulling your eye across to the left-hand side. So I'm just adding that with some double-sided tape to the bottom of the layout, and I really like how that looks. Just ruffling up the edges. Almost there. And that just kind of grounds the photo. I really liked how that looked. I'll try this chipboard frame, but it doesn't work for me, so I do pull that off again in a minute. But in the meantime, adding the foam pads. These are the 25mm Sticks to foam pads that I use all the time for raising my photos up. They're so handy. They're 2mm deep and then 25 by 25 in size. And they've got the overhang on the pieces that you pull off, so it makes them terribly easy to put down, which is great. So here I am messing with that frame, trying to work out what to do, but I discard it. So pulling off all these backing sheets, see how easy it is to do. I just love these. And then that gets popped down there. So as I mentioned before, here's some of my wax twine that I'm just going to use to loop through the two tags and then secure at the top of the circle. and just leave them hanging for now while I work out what else I'm putting on the layout. So having another quick look through the chipboard pieces, and I find this gorgeous bird, and I think, how perfect is that? Amelia out in the garden, a little bird chatting to her. So just mounting that up onto foam pads. These are the 6x12 mil foam pads that work really well as well. So just adding that as if he's perched on top of that card. Now looking through these word strips to see if there's anything I can use. And I found one that says just enjoy and another one that says today. So I like those, and they're right next to that lovely Flair badge from Hey Little Magpie. That's the print shop one, and it just says the little things, and the blue works really nicely with the colours of the photo. And then I spot this long arrow, and I think that will be a really nice piece to add to the bottom here on top of that torn paper that I added. So just mounting that up onto foam pads, because it's going to overlap that card that's already on foam pads. This needed to go on them as well. So just pulling off the backing, and then that will be stuck down. And I still feel like there's something missing. I still want to add more. So just gluing down that Flair badge first of all. And then I'm going to come in with my trusty labels. I seem to be using these on every layout at the moment. I'm sure I'll get bored eventually, but this is the LE Studio label stamp, which we will be restocking this month at Hey Little Magpie. And just building up a layer of labels around the corner, just to add a bit of interest. I didn't have a lot of space there. I didn't want to add too much, but I just like bringing in some of these primary colours here. So just gluing all those down with my wet glue. And we're nearly there. So while I'm faffing around, please do check the description box down below to see everybody else who's joining in on this hop. It's a fabulous hop arranged by Christie. A lot of work goes into it, and I've learnt loads from watching other people's videos. The playlist keeps growing every day, so do keep checking back, and you can just play and watch to your heart's content and learn some new tricks, find some new people to follow. So please do check that out. So I'm nearly there now, adding all these labels to the bottom of the layout, and then that little chipboard heart from the chipboard sticker sheet, and then another one at the top there, which is another little heart, gold heart. And then I realised that I need something to anchor down that twine at the top, so I just pull out a little sticker from the sticker book and use that to anchor it. And then I just wanted something else behind this bird, so I'm pulling out the 49er Market Ticket Essentials in red and using 2 there in different tones. And I think that's pretty much it. I do add some gold splatters at the end because it just felt a little bit too neat and clean for me. So you'll see me doing that in a bit. And that's the end of the layout. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Do give it a thumbs up. Ask if you've got any questions at all. I love having a chat in the comments. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you so much for that. Oh yes, that was the last thing I was doing. I've added my journaling around the edge of the circle. There wasn't really much other place to put it, and I thought it would be nice to just pop it around there. So that's it. Thanks again. See you tomorrow. Bye.